Today I wanted to do a comparison video. I've done so many videos on individual checkouts and discussions of individual fans and less much on comparisons. Although if you go back in this channel throughout the past couple months, done some pretty obvious comparisons. For example, Lakewood P23 and a P25, for example, and doing some things like that. More recently, I've done some comparisons of a cool colors Lasko with a blue Kmart Lakewood, just for kind of fun. So kind of along those lines, I was thinking about the mighty 3733 here. Not so mighty. It is what it is, right? And it was actually sitting in this room, and because I had done something else with it. And this one here, this Edison, it's Comfort fan. I believe it's Comfort fan. Yeah, no, Toastmaster. I keep calling it an Edison, probably because of the metal grill on the back side, and probably because the thin and light used these same blades. So I keep calling it an Edison. So I stand corrected. Probably on the video for that, I probably even called it an Edison and labeled it that way. So be it. That being said, I was thinking about it because this one is used in this room, and then this one was just hanging around because I was doing something else. And I thought, I think that this fan might have been the economy fan, if you will, or one of the many economy fans of that generation. So I thought, how does that stack up against the ultimate economy fan today, the 3733? And you looking back, through the eyes or the lenses of 2024, looking back to this time, this doesn't seem like economy, right? Like you just pick it up, it's a heavier cabinet, it's wider, it has metal on the back side of the grill. It has that big, powerful Edison, I know it's Toastmaster, Edison motor in it. So that was used in the bigger McGraw Edison Comfort fans, and even before that in the 70s with the metal bladed version. So it's been around and it's tried and true. But I do believe when it got to this point, they were becoming more economy based, right? And so I thought, let's compare the two. And I'm not going to do the whole like high, medium, low on both sides and check the spin down like we do in a checkout video. But I want to write down the power consumption or energy consumption of each and just kind of compare it, right? So I have the Edison plugged into my meter. Let me just make sure my power strip is on. Okay. Power strip is on. So we'll do low, medium, high. So I guess in a way I'm turning them on and off, but on all three speeds. So we're going to do low, medium, high, and we'll do the energy consumption here. We'll do the amps, the volts, power factor, and we'll take a look at both fans and just really kind of compare them. It would be neat, aside from a roll of toilet paper, to have some type of way to measure the airflow. I guess for those who are much smarter than me, you could figure out CFM in some way, perhaps even just basing it on the manufacturer's specs. I don't know if that even exists anymore for this. This is probably out there. It's probably written on the box that it came in. Okay, so let's do low. So I'm going to call it out and write it down because there's no way I'm remembering it. So for the volts, 23. For the amps, we got 1.26. Power factor, 0.649. Okay, let's do medium. Power factor, 0.62. Amps, 1.57. way. Let's move quickly here. Here are volts, of course. Amps 2.08. Power factor 6.1. The reason why this is rattling is because something happened to the cabinet on this. It's slightly bent. I acquired it that way. I don't know if it I ordered that off of eBay because it was one of the Toastmaster / Edisons I did not have in my collection. So I ordered it, and I don't know if that cabinet issue, because the metal grill on the other side is kind of bent a little bit, happened in shipping or whatnot. This fan is like virtually a brand new fan. When I've showed videos on the backside, the windings look like they're brand new. Like it's not like they've been cleaned. They just look brand new. So we got that fan done. And, you know, just even comparing, like when they went to banana blades, which started with the thin and lights, I think you can trace that back even to the 70s, because the predecessor to the Edison thin and light, if you check out the channel, I have a green, what would look like a green thin and light, metal grills on both sides. The motor mounts into the grill like this, except it has like a plate instead of the two kind of like brackets, and that has banana blades. That fan is actually very powerful. I call it the green machine. As opposed to these blades, I'm just finally getting kind of comfortable with these blades. Comfortable meaning like aesthetically. I think they were ugly. Like I think the hub and the blade are disproportionate. The hub actually looks like a normal size hub, but then the blades just look like too small. I know people hate these banana blades. I like them. And that's aesthetic. You know, when you're a little boy, like I was when these fans were around, you just have memories of seeing them, and that's what your eyes are used to. And whenever I would see a thin and light or whatever, because that's predominantly where you would see those, and later Toastmasters, of course, it just reminded me of seeing it and being a kid and having a great childhood and part of your surroundings. And I'm sure people feel maybe this way about these guys, even though these things have been fairly similar for a long time. Although these really have been similar for a long time too. That's the irony. Like I said, in the 70s, they started using banana blades, and then up into the 90s with the final iteration of the Toastmaster with the plastic grill on the backside and a traditional mounts for the motor. This is what this morphed into. So this is almost like a transitional model. All right, so let's check out the 3733 and our lovely blue plug. We're gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna start on low. This Lasko has feet on it, so it shouldn't be falling all over the place, but all right. 1, 2, 3 in the volts, of course. Amps 0.58. This is less. And 0.92 in the power factor. Alright, so medium. So you can see, none of the camera can pick it up like shaking. It's the typical Lasko improper blade balance. But I did argue in another video that I also think these cabinets are so light that just the normal vibrations, or should I say harmonics, of the motor are causing it to move. Where that, it was just really more or less rattling because the cage is kind of a little bent. Medium. Power factor 0.94. Amps 0.65. And of course volts 1, 2, 3. All right. I guess in addition to like a flow meter or knowing the CFM, for those who have sensitive ears and a little noise bothers them, it would be interesting to know the decibel level. Might have a way of doing that at some point with the fans as part of measuring that. So let's just kind of run through this. See, it's funny. I probably couldn't have remembered all that. I have a lot of numbers floating in my head for work. So just to kind of finalize this, so for the amps, the Edison on low 1.26 versus the Lasko 0.58, medium 1.57 versus 0.65, and then the Edison on high 2.08 versus 0.76 amps. And then power factor, big difference, a lot of differences here. Low 0.619 versus 0.92, medium 0.62 versus 0.94, and then high 0.61 versus 0.98. So we clearly know the more energy efficient one, and kind of like the unofficial test would be which one throws more air. My bias is telling me the Toastmaster, and it would also make sense that it's more power hungry because the motor is just physically bigger. Yeah, that's not really an official test or anything, but the motor is physically bigger, and technology, manufacturing, engineering would tend to make that the new one is the Lasko is more energy efficient. Now, I do remember on one of the boxes to, I think one of the Edison fans I have with banana blades, it says something like computer designed blades or computer engineered blades. And I think the date on that fan was like early 80s or something. So it's interesting that they consulted with a computer for the most aerodynamic blade design, but then yet years later you see blades that are shaped like this. And if you take the SMC or the Utilitech, whatever you want to call it, Medea, those blades are very skinny and they would almost resonate more the shape of a banana blade. So I would think, and in terms of aerodynamics, like there's going to be really only one design that maximizes airflow. And I'm surprised that the manufacturers haven't nailed that, like even nailed it back then. Like just figure out what it is and just make that design for the end of time, really. Maybe that's what this is. I don't know. Maybe part of it is a balance between the most efficient blades versus the ones that use the least amount of material from a cost perspective in manufacturing. I don't know. We also know on the upgraded Lasko models, they start manipulating the grill on the front and even on the rear in some models, like the Power Plus. I believe the Cool Colors just has the front grill, but the standard back grill. That's a way to increase airflow as well. So this I thought was kind of an interesting test, and I'm going to kind of continue to compare different models, different eras. We talk about how much our beloved vintage fans are, but from an efficiency standpoint, we just looked at that, and I should imagine from an airflow perspective, they're probably fairly similar. But I don't have at the moment an official way to test that. So let me know in the comments what you think. Those who follow the channel know I absolutely, the Edisons are beloved to me. I love them. That's my childhood fan. This model is not my childhood fan, but it's a variation of it. A Comfort fan is mine, and a traditional thin and light. So I've owned just about every variant. I talk about that too in another video. So all day long, I'm going with this one. Bottom line anyway, I like a wider cabinet. It's much easier to set into the window. But in my mind, this is also a better looking fan. And and I just like the old school look to it. It sets itself apart. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'm going to keep trying to do some comparison videos for fun. And if there's something that you want to see, especially if you've seen the channel and you know what kind of fans I have in my collection, shout it out, and I'll do a video. See you next time.